And we are live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Alien Spaceship stream. You could be watching from anywhere around the country or the world, and I really appreciate every single one of you. Coming to you from the Spaceship Studios from a galaxy far, far away. Alright, so here I am. We are doing what our usual live stream as we like to do, and now what I'm about to do is switch over so everybody can see me. Here we go, right here. Oh, hello, Rebecca. It's great to see you. Welcome to the stream. I haven't been on Facebook lately, like today or yesterday, but I'll get back to you, Rebecca. And, alright, so, yesterday we had very interesting conversations regarding the situation with the different trials that we were watching. It was the sentencing of Lori Daybell was very, cringe, as usual. And hello, Moki. It's great to see you. Welcome to the stream. I'm glad to have you here. And yeah, so yesterday was a very good trial coverage that we did on those different topics. Hope everybody's having a great day and a good weekend so far. Yeah, so my weather has been kind of sunny and stormy, but mostly overcast for today. I was looking into some of the mysterious situations that have occurred where they had. Am I okay? Yes, I'm doing okay. I'm doing fine. I was doing things looking at the. Well, I did see the cats today, as I usually see the cats. I was doing some things, talking to some different people last night. I did y'all, and I did some other streams. I didn't do a stream on here, but I was like on some other streams. So then I did my walk at night. It was nice being in the garden, which, as I said before, I do intend to do a garden live to show you all the garden at some point again. And there's been these different times where these recordings were on TV. So like, there's back in the day they had like you'd watch a TV something on TV, and then something would happen where you would it would get hacked, and then like these strange messages would start appearing from certain people. Now on YouTube, it's not something that we would usually see through the internet these days, and it's not something I think that was more modern times. But in the decades of the past, yeah, they would have incidences when TV stations would get hacked. And I was kind of looking at, I've seen that before, but I was looking into it again to refresh my memory about it. They had one time, there's, did I look at the link of look at the link for the interview with the reptilians? Yes, I saw that. Thank you. I thought it was very interesting. I do want to continue to research it, but yes, I did. Open that link up and see it. So that was something that I was looking into with the different times TV stations have been hacked. Now, I think anything with the aliens is very intriguing to see because I do believe they're real, and I do believe a lot of these interviews are real. Like, there is one incident where there's a TV, there's the news going on, and this other person came with a pew pew with a firearm pointed at the news host, and he would want him to read from this piece of paper, and it had to do with aliens. That the government was hiding things about aliens, and he was thinking that his father was a clone, and stuff like this. And the person's allegedly mentally ill, but I don't know. Like with a lot of these things that we see now, that it seems these aliens are real, and there seems to be more credibility to them. And we talked about like Planet Serpo, where they had these different clones of these different people that they had there. because inside their vaults they're doing experiments. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's some sort of truth to these things because now it's more socially acceptable. Yeah, and another thing that I was looking at that you sent me was about the anomaly underwater, UFO underwater. I thought that was very interesting. And it was so that is something I think was a UFO that was underwater at some point. You know, it's sunk or it was in the Baltic Sea anomaly. That was something that I do think was something real as underwater. So going through some of these things that you sent me, I want to go through that. I want to talk about that, and we could also talk about the reptilian thing too. Reptilian interview. So the Baltic Sea anomaly is visible on a distinct solar image taken by Peter Lindeberg, Dennis Aberg, and their Swedish Ocean X diving team. Shout Mary Toodles. While treasure hunting on the floor of the northern Baltic center of the Gulf of Bothnia on June 11, the team suggested that their sonar image showed an object, which I want to show you all what I'm reading. Okay, I want to do that. So, going over here to this other window. Let's see, it opens. What?
News alert.
Oh, they caught one of the people?
No, there was some kind of, not here, somewhere in the United States, a mass stabbing I'm serious, at Walmart, like during the day today. Over Michigan, I think.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, Michigan.
Let's see. "11 people injured at a suspect in custody after random stabbing." Okay. Okay, Moki. Thank you. Understood. Alright, so on June 11, the team suggested that their sonar image showed an object with an unusual features of seemingly non-natural origin, promoting the speculation published in the tabloid newspapers that the object was a sunken UFO. And on the in the little blue thing right here, this is allegedly the image of the UFO that was sunk underwater. Very interesting. I like the idea of a sunken UFO because it's like a sunken ship, but it's actually a spaceship. Alright, so the team suggested that their sonar showed an object with unusual features of seemingly non-natural origin, promoting speculation published in tabloid newspapers that the object was a sunken UFO. A consensus of experts and scientists say that the image most likely shows a natural geological formation. The Swedish-based Ocean X describe themselves as treasure hunters and salvage operators. According to the team, they returned from an expedition in the Baltic Sea between Sweden and Finland with a blurry but interesting sonar image while searching for an old shipwreck. In the summer of 2011, they have claimed that their image showed a 60-meter, 200 feet diameter circular object with features that appeared possibly man-made. The group revisited the site in following year and got more detailed sonar scans following the story published in UK tabloid newspaper and a Daily Mail in June 2012. A number of wildly speculative theories became popular. Simple stone recovered at the site by Ocean X were given to Volker Butchard, an associate professor of geology, Stockholm University. Butchard's analysis of the samples indicated that the most are granite and gneisses and sandstones among samples of the loose pieces of the blastic volcanic rock typical of many in the site. Moki says it must cost a lot to do this stuff because you think they gotten back there quicker. Oh, absolutely. And it certainly does cost a lot to get this stuff done. A lot of manpower, a lot of equipment, a lot of time and training too. And I think weather also is a factor when they're trying to go down. Like, for instance, although the Ocean Gate imploded underwater, they got delayed because of a storm that was happening. So I do think weather plays a role. A couple of things could play a role in this, including, the financial burden and getting all that equipment down there, definitely. Typically of many on the site which place on the seafloor, but not unusual. Be- and Moki says, my spelling's terrible today. My spelling is terrible today. Scared. I didn't even notice. I didn't really even notice it. But, yeah. Scared. Because of the whole northern Baltic region is so heavily influenced by glacial thawing process, both the feature and the rock samples are likely to have formed in connection with glacial post-glacial process. Possibly these rocks were transported there by glaciers, explained to Burchard, Swedish geologists, and Frederick Kingberg and Martin Jacobson say that the chemical composition of the samples provided resemble that a noodles that are not uncommon on the seabeds that are materials found including the limonite and geothite that can indeed be formed by nature itself. The geologist did not have actual samples from the object but only from the seafloor and the surroundings. Good evening, Badeau. Good to see you. And in geology, particularly the sedimentology of noodle is a small, irregular, rounded knot, mass, or lump of the minerals aggregate and typically has contrasting composition from the enclosing sediment or sedimentary rock. Examples include pyrite, noodles, and coal. There's been some breaking news that happened. There was a stabbing at a Walmart earlier, by the way. And of the noodles that are not common on seabeds. And that the materials found, including the limonite and geothite, can indeed be formed by nature itself. The geologist did not have exact examples of the object, but only from the seafloor and the surrounding material. Yeah, so we have this UFO, allegedly, that sunk at some point in the past. They think it's a UFO. But actually, it's a UFO that got sunk. And these explorers that were they were treasure hunters, and salvage operators were going to find something, but they found this, and they believe the way it was designed and structured was not of something made by nature, but made by man, and that this was man-made. Interestingly. Or maybe it was made by aliens. Response. The signal sonar image provided by the Ocean X has drawn criticism from a number of sources. Hanamant Sai of the Woods and Hole Oceanographic Institution has said that it cannot be trusted because several distortions render it virtually useless for identifying an undersea formation. According to Sai, the distortions are due to cheap, inaccurate sonar instruments that was improperly wired and calibrated. At the MSNBC reported that speculated that interpretations of the image as flying saucer are likely the result of graphical outlines intended to suggest a fictional spaceship, the Millennium Falcon, drawn into the sonar image by the tabloid newspaper. But I still think that it is probably some either strange rock formation or some sort of UFO craft or something humans made. They think it's a sunken UFO. Reacting to a photo. Yes, 11 people injured in the stabbing. And we don't really know the motives of it, but we'll get more into that. Oh, hello, Overtime. Great to see you, buddy. Welcome. We're talking about the sunken UFO. Allegedly, that was underwater. Yeah, facts. Facts Overtime. Reacting to a photo published by Swedish newspaper Expressen, purportedly taken by Ocean X during a dive to collect rock samples, Goran Erikberg, a marine archaeologist at the Maritime Museum in Stockholm, said, "A natural geological formation can't be ruled out. I agree. The finding looks weird since it's completely circular, but nature has produced stranger things than that." Oh, thank you, Overtime. Thank you. Martin Jacobson, the professor of marine geology and geophysics at Stockholm University, also examined that the image. I'm guessing it's some sort of sandstone, but to make things clear, I've only seen the media images and I need more material before making an official statement. Other experts say that the image quite possibly shows a grouping of rocks deposited by Ice Age glaciers, or maybe a pillow basal or a moraine. Moki says still is underwater. They are still trying to explore it. It is as far as I know. Okay, thank you, Moki. According to the Finnish planetary geomorphologist Jarmo Korntaimäe, volcanic-based explanations such as the hydrothermal vent are not plausible, and the Fennoscandian shield, as a thick craton with no active volcanism after the Proterozoic and regional bathymetry, explains the runaway formation under the anomaly as part of the large group of similar NNWSSE oriented mounds which occur located on the bottom of the Bothnian Sea. Kortenamai said that the runaway is most likely a natural rock formation, a Drumian formation formed by glacial action. Happy UFO party to you, Shecky, too. Jonathan Hill and Mars Space Flight Facility question the motives involved in the Ocean X announcements include plans to take wealthy tourists in submarines to visit the site. He was quoted in 2012, wherever people may take extraordinary claims, it's always a good idea to consider for a moment whether they are personally benefiting from the claim or if it's truly objective observation. He also suggested that it would have been a sample to break off a piece and have it geologically tested, and said that the test results showing it was simply a rock would not have benefited Peter Lindenberg. Lindenberg suggested in 2019 interview that there may be possibility for a new expedition via the television production they are involved. Yeah, that is good music too. The grunge music. I like I like all music. Thanks, Smokey. I'm going to do something real quick with this title here. Let's see. Yeah, so that is a alleged UFO. That might be there. All right. We will be getting into the Walmart stabbing in a moment. I mean, not in a moment, but uh, I could get into that. Yeah. Let's see. I want to see where this other thing was at. Let's see. Yeah. I'm having like a allergy attack going on here. Oh Lord. But anyway, I'm okay. All right, now I'm going to go to the CNN the stabbing thing, and then I'm going to talk about these lizards who are this lizard alien interview. Okay, I'm glad y'all are here. Thank you. All right. Well, by the way, this is the Benini. Yes, yes. The Benini Road, sometimes called the Benini. This is something cool that just like was a suggestion. Is a underwater rock formation near the island of North Benini in the Benini chain of islands. The road consists of 0.8 kilometers northeast southwest linear feature roughly regular limestone blocks. Various claims have been made that the feature being either a wall, road, or pier breaker. Oh, thank you, Moki. I'll look for that on Monday. Thank you. Long northeast, southeast, southwest feature composed of limestone blocks. Various claims have been made, the feature being either a wall, road, pier, breakwater, or other man-made structure. However, credible evidence of arguments are lacking for such an origin. On September 2, 1968, while diving meters off the northwest coast of North Benini, Joseph Manson, Valentine, Jacques Mayol, and Robert Angove encountered what they call the pavement of water, later found to be noticeably rounded stones of varying size and thickness. These stones form a northeast-southwest linear feature which is now commonly known as either the Benini Road or Benini Wall. The similar linear feature lie parallel in shoreward of the Benini Wall. All right. And going to the attack that happened. Okay, it says former TN release star arrested for reportedly attacking woman in the shocking. Okay. 11 people injured and suspect in custody after random stabbing in Traverse City, Walmart officials say. 11 people were injured in a random stabbing by a man with a folding knife style weapon at a Walmart in Traverse City, Michigan, Saturday. According to the Grand Traverse County Sheriff, a 42-year-old suspect, a Michigan resident, was taken into custody. Grand Traverse County Sheriff Michael Shea said at a news conference. Shea didn't name the suspect, but said the authorities believe he acted alone. Quote, there is no information indicating that there were additional suspects, Shea said. It appears that these were all random acts. The sheriff said 3 of the victims are undergoing surgery, and he was awaiting more information about the status of all victims. 6 of the victims are male and 5 are female, he said. Moonson Healthcare, a hospital system in northern Michigan, is treating 11 victims for the incident, according to their Facebook post, which did not provide details on the exact nature of the injuries and the conditions of the victims. There was the citizen involvement in taking the suspect into custody, she has said, and the suspect was not injured, he added. The incident started near the checkout area, involved in what appears to be a standard folding knife style weapon, according to the sheriff. He said that Michigan State Police Crime Lab is en route to assist with the processing scene. Once the scene is cleared, the Walmart will be able to reopen. The FBI personnel are also responding to the incident to provide assistance. FBI personnel are responding to an incident, provided the assistant. The FBI Deputy Director, Dan Bugino, said in a post on X. Okay, Boudreaux, thanks for doing that for overtime. Michigan Gov. Gretchen Whitmer said she was in touch with law enforcement about the horrible news in a post on X. Our thoughts are with the victims and the community reeling from the brutal acts of violence. Whitmer said, quote, I am grateful to the first responders for their swift response to apprehend the suspect. Walmart cooperated spokesperson Joe Pentington told CNN that the voice is like this is unacceptable. Our thoughts are with those who were injured, and we're thankful for the swift action of the first responders. Quote, we'll continue working closely with the law enforcement during their investigation. Traverse City is located in northern Michigan, around 140 miles north of Grand Rapids. CNN has reached out to Michigan State Police and Moonson Healthcare for additional information. Oh, hello there, Libby. It's great to see you. Welcome to the chat. Also, she says hello to Moki too, as well. All right, Libby. So, I hope that you're having a good weekend. In the Baltic Sea, there is allegedly this UFO sunken underwater. And people think that it may be a UFO that sunk a very long time ago, and a team of treasure hunters were trying to locate it. We're trying to see what it is, and they're going to do some more exploring to see if it really is what they think it is. And they said it's impossible for it to have been something from a nature making it. It was something not of nature, they think. And recently we have an incident in Walmart. 11 people injured and suspect in custody after random stabbing in Traverse City, Walmart officials say. And to catch you up, Libby, so 11 people were injured in a random stabbing by a man with a folding knife style weapon at a Walmart in Traverse City, Michigan, Saturday, according to the Grand Traverse County Sheriff. And a 42-year-old suspect, a Michigan resident, was taken into custody. Grand Traverse County Sheriff Michelle Shea. Yeah. County Sheriff Michael Shea said at the news conference she didn't name the suspect, but it's Michelle Shea. But authorities believe he acted alone. Quote, there is no information indicating there were additional suspects, Shea said. It appears that these were all random acts. Though I don't know, overtime either is lurking or maybe he went to do something, I don't know. A lot of people lurk. I'm not too sure. Alright, so it was a 42-year-old suspect, and Shea didn't name the suspect but said authorities believe that he acted alone. And quote, there is no information indicating there were additional suspects, Shea said. It appears that these were all random acts. Every day, this freaking country, the world, people killing or hurting people. Yeah. Like, I think that to see it happen so frequently is very frightening. Like, what's the future going to hold for us as a people if we keep doing stuff like this? Scared. I mean, look. It's like people gotta not let their emotions get the best of them. I don't know what people's motives and stuff are, but, you know, people gotta really gotta chill about these type of things. Like, it's really disgraceful to see that, and it's like a loss of human life. Like, you can't even shop at a Walmart anymore. You can't do any of the stuff that we usually could do anymore without being concerned about getting stabbed. It's ridiculous. And Moki, you are right. There's a lot about the oceans that we don't know. Like, we talk about space and we talk about these things, but the oceans, there's so many interesting things in the oceans that we don't even know about. And I think the ocean should be explored more. Like, we already know that there's gray aliens. We already know that there's lizard aliens, you know, but there's things underwater we don't know. Yeah, shocking indeed, though. Yes. The sheriff said 3 of the victims are undergoing surgery, and he was awaiting more information about the status of the victims. 6 of the victims are male and 5 are female, he said. Monsoon Healthcare, a hospital system in northern Michigan, is treating 11 victims from the incident, according to the Facebook post, which did not provide details on the exact nature of the injuries or the conditions of the victims. There was a citizen involved in taking the suspect into custody. She has said the suspect was not injured, he added. The incident started near The checkout area involved what appears to be a standard folding knife style weapon. Yeah, schools and Walmarts, yes. According to the sheriff, he said that the Michigan State Police Crime Lab is en route to assist with the processing the scene. Once the scene is cleared, the Walmart will be able to reopen. The FBI personnel are also responding to the incident to provide assistance, FBI Deputy Director Dan Bongino said in a post on X. Michigan Gov. Gretchen Whitmer said she was in touch with law enforcement about the horrible news. Our thoughts are with the victims and the community reeling this brutal act of violence, Whitmer said. I am grateful to the victims' response, first responders, for their swift response to apprehend the suspect. Hello, Cecil. Great to see you, buddy. And you're right. It's absolutely insane. It's going crazy. Yeah, see, so I hope you're having a good weekend. Everything's going good for you so far. And yeah, we are talking about this craziness of the world. It's like, we know people do. That's why I was saying about the people want to take away or have the pew-pews, the guns limited. But people could just use knives next. Skirt. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking. It's like, what are we doing here? It's like, we have people, if you take away a spoon, they're going to use spoons, they're going to use a fork, they're going to use a knife, they're going to use a scythe, they're going to use all kinds of things. You know, they'll use a chair. So it's not about the weapon, it's about what is causing people to want to do these kind of things. Wimmer said that she was in touch with law enforcement about the horrible news. Our thoughts are with victims and the community reading from this brutal attack. Victims in the community reeling from the brutal acts of violence. Whitmer said, I am grateful to the first responders for their swift response to apprehend the suspect. Oh. That has to do with pulling. That's where you hold a knife. Yeah. A sheath. A sheath knife is a fixed blade knife that fits into a sheath. By traditional use of leather, now often materials such as nylon or cleaver. I'll show you all the sheath knife right here. You see like this right here. That is the sheath. And that's a sheath knife. It's kind of like, you could get a Bowie knife. Let's see a Bowie knife. You see it says Bowie knife? The Bowie knife was something used by the cowboys and stuff. Yeah, so... yeah, that's what that is. Skirt. Yeah, Libby. Scared. Scared. Skirt. Yeah. Okay, and... alright. So, our thoughts were with the victims in the community. Reeling from the brutal act of violence, Whitmer said, I'm grateful for the first responders for their swift response to apprehend the suspect. Walmart corporate spokesperson Joe Pennington told CNN that the violence like this is unacceptable. Our thoughts are with those who were injured, and we're thankful for the swift action of first responders. We'll continue working closely with law enforcement during their investigation. Travis City is located in northern Michigan, around 140 miles north of the Grand Rapids. CNN has reached out to Michigan State Police and Moonson Healthcare for additional information. And she urged people to be vigilant. Oh, okay, Moki. Scared. Violence is very uncommon for our area, the sheriff said, but unfortunately, no one is immune to this. Oh, okay, Cecil, thank you. Cecil says it's getting to be where you have to keep an eye open for danger everywhere. Yeah, Cecil. There's no safe place. You know, like they said, certain areas are bad, some areas are good, but a lot of times the good areas could become the bad areas because that's where everybody's going to go to attack. You got to make sure you protect it with those kinds of weapons, just like to walk down the street, discreet, skirt. Cat TV, it's great to see you. It's been a while since we've seen you here, and shout out to you and your cats. I like seeing the different videos. And and so hope you're doing well. So, and hey BK, it's great to see you. Hola. All right, so Cat TV, something that we're talking about is 11 people injured and a suspect is in custody after the random stabbing in Travis City Walmart, officials say. Updates. And Kat says I have 5 new kittens born. I have 5 newborn kittens on my bed. Oh, that's so cute. All right, so for those that are just tuning in, we're gonna go over this situation that occurred right here. Attacks. Meow. Meow meow. Here we go. Yes. Yes, I was there for both births. Yes, I was. And I enjoyed seeing that. You know, and I remember when I was there and seeing the cats give birth and the cat giving birth to the little kittens. Yeah, I enjoyed that. And yeah, very good streams. You know, Cat TV is a good channel where she streams her kittens. I recommend it. Shout out to her. All right, Travis City Walmart stabbing suspect, a foreign guy used folding knife to attack 11 victims. Yes, this was today in the United States, somewhere in the afternoon. Travis City Walmart stabbing suspect, a foreign guy used folding knife to attack 11 victims. Tragedy hit Tragedy hit Travis City, Michigan after 11 people were stabbed at the Walmart there. While suspect is now in custody, more details are emerging about the case. You're welcome, Cat TV. It was my pleasure. Tragedy hit Travis City, Michigan after 11 people were stabbed at the Walmart there, while the suspect is now in custody. More details emerging about the case. Hey, BK, it's good to see you, buddy. I'm always glad to see you. Welcome. One local on Facebook has claimed that the suspect was a foreign guy. Amber Paul's commented was shared on X by Laura Loomer. All right, and then you have breaking. The man who just stabbed nearly a dozen innocent people inside a Walmart, Michigan, is being described by witnesses as a foreign guy. Sadly, Michigan has been destroyed and by the terrorism who has ruined the many in Europe cities in Michigan have been in this situation. So it seems that the person may have been a terrorist, allegedly. Okay, and continuing. Authorities have meanwhile said that the suspect appears to be a Michigan resident. What the local said about the stabbing on Facebook, Paul said a foreign guy that just lost it on random people in the produce and grocery area. African American guy pulled a hero move and pulled his pistol out and tried to get him to stop, but the people screamed and the workers said to run. So the guy slipped out in the crowd, and the old woman and a child for sure was stabbed. Yeah, absolutely. So it seems like the person is some sort of a migrant from the a foreign country, and it seems like the person was a terrorist, allegedly. I don't know enough about to confirm it, but this seems to be most likely what's going on. Authorities have meanwhile said that the suspect appears to be a Michigan resident. What the locals said about the stabbing on Friday, Paul said a foreign guy, okay, and they're screaming workers to run away. The guy slipped out in the crowd. An old woman and a child for sure were stabbed, along with many more. Yes, yes, I am Hermod. That's true. Foreign guy, interesting. MI is becoming a hotspot for different countries. Yeah, yeah. So I'll read the post right here. Just doing the reporting, it says the man who just stabbed nearly a dozen innocent people inside the Walmart in Michigan is being described. Witnesses of the foreign guy. She says, sadly, Michigan is being destroyed by the Islamic invaders who have ruined majority European cities, and Michigan has now been targeted by it. And as I said, there are people that are of that religion that are not like this, but yes, they are of people that from these foreign countries that, of course, do these stabbings and things like this that happen in Europe. Now, my opinion has to do more with the culture, the country the person came from, and more so like, yeah, someone that's from like these third world countries that they're going to do this stuff anyway. I think it would have been irrelevant what they believed, but yeah, certainly these people that are not, are going these, Michigan, these different places, they're doing these attacks is not good. The terrorism is unacceptable, but doesn't mean everybody in that religion is doing that. But yeah, the terrorism is unacceptable, and let's see, showing more about the article. Where here we are continuing. Yes, yes, and as I said, we don't really know for certain if the person was a terrorist, but they seem to. It seems to be what they think it is, but I don't even know who the person is. It may be an American. It may not be someone from another country. I have know nothing about the person. This is just alleged until I can confirm it. It's kicking off big style today in UK against illegal immigration. Oh, okay. Kat, thanks for the update. Cat TV, it's nowhere near where I am. No. And yes, right on, Loki. Yes. What Laura Loomer said. Loomer had initially asked what were the odds of the person involving Michigan stabbing being Muslim. The Michigan has been invaded. Deport them all, she wrote on X. After a local's account, Loomer added that sadly has been destroyed. Like what I just read about Islamic invaders who had ruined the majority of Europe's leading cities, which, as I said, not all Muslims are doing this kind of thing, of course, but you do have people from these other countries that are terrorists are doing stuff like this. When you have people from third world countries that are not adapting to the place that they're at, they're going to do stuff like this. Of course, and Michigan said that now has been ruined by the stench of swarmria and women in burqas. It is highly likely that the man who stabbed the people today was an Islamic immigrant. You see, Laura Loomer is saying that it's likely an Islamic immigrant, but as I said, I don't even really know if it's been confirmed exactly who this person is, but allegedly, that's what it is. I don't know for certain. I do not know for certain. Notably, cops have not released much details on the suspect they have in custody for the stabbings. Authorities respond to Travis City Walmart stabbing. Scared. Oh, there's protests all around the UK. Understood. Yes, I'm in the south. It was no, this was up north. Doe says it's unformed masses right now, still trying to decide. Oh, okay, understood. Monsoon. Okay, so notably, cops have released much details on the suspect. You see, we don't really know much about the person. They have in custody in the stabbings. Authorities responded to Travis City Walmart stabbing. Monsoon Healthcare said on social media. Oh, okay, BK, understood. Monsoon Healthcare said it on social media that 11 people were being treated at the region's largest hospital in northern Michigan, and spokesperson Megan Brown said were the stabbing victims. Scared. Facts right on, Libby. She did not immediately have information on their conditions. Monsoon Healthcare said it would provide updates as appropriate. The Michigan State Police said that the local sheriff's office was investigating the incident and details were limited. The agency asked the people avoided the area with investigations into it is ongoing. A fire truck, multiple police vehicles, and informed first responders were seen outside the Walmart following the incident. Kat says protests outside migrant hotels from people coming in on boats. Ah, okay. Understood. A fire truck, multiple police vehicles, and uniformed first responders were seen outside the Walmart following the incident. Gov. Gretchen Whitmer said her office was in contrast with the police and the horrible news. Our thoughts are with the victims and the community relying on the brutal acts of violence, Whitmer said. All right. All right. So, okay, here we go. Now, I think that it is really disgraceful where people are doing these evil stabbings, and especially if it was somebody from one of the a country from one of the foreign countries where they might have a lot of these type of criminals. Because a lot of times, when, in my opinion, it's all my opinion, everybody, is that you have people from countries all over the place. You know, you have countries all over the world. Now, there's people that are criminals, and some people aren't. And I think that when we have these broken countries, you're gonna have people that are going to do stuff like this. And it seems like they selected in my opinion, certain people that are going to do stuff like this and import them into these other places. You know, they're not the doctors or the scientists, but these people that are not right that are going to do stuff like this. So I think that people, regardless of what religion they follow, are going to, you know, when they're from these third world countries that are going to do stuff like this, they're going to do it anyway. And it needs to not happen. I mean, and it may have been somebody from this country that just was going crazy, like Brian Koberger. I don't really know much. I don't see much information about the suspect. But yeah, you know, certainly this should not be happening here and or anywhere else. You know, any civilized country. I think that in if you go to, I guess like in Saudi Arabia, if you did something like this, they go chop your hands off or execute you. You know, so or if you, but over in Europe in these different countries, it seems like people could just go and drive through a crowd of people, or like really people doing this all over the place, driving through crowds of people or doing stabbings, like, and it's just ridiculous, you know. So I think that anywhere, regardless of country or culture or religion, or religious states or not, people do not want to go to the grocery store and be able to get what they have to get and go home. Everybody can agree on that. It's a golden rule. So I think that it's really a lack of like political politicians and lawmakers are really being cringe where they're not trying to look out for their people and make sure that there's safe people around. So we don't know. It could have been a Brian Koberger person. It could have been somebody from this country or somebody from that was gang violence. It could have been anything. I don't really know, but it seems like it was somebody from one of the other countries. And I've been talking about the honor killings. I think I talked about that the other day. I think we talked about that the other day. Well, Libby, if we see your page, what people are going to see is nothing. Oh, BK, nice pick. I like it. Look cool. Yeah, let's see. I think we talked about this before. Okay. Scared. Oh, yeah, okay. The honor killings because of the Ali trial. Okay. We can talk about the honor killings. Alright. Oh no, Libby. On your channel, what would be seen is just a blank page with no content. Cecil says, just like the idiot that drove down the parade route and hurt people crazy. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. People don't have to have a reason. Like, people are going to do this stuff anyway. Like, the Columbine shooters just did it because they're going to do something like that anyway. It's like, people are going to do that stuff regardless. Yeah. Oh, about the Ali's. Yeah, well, you know, I think that with that trial, completely unacceptable to do something like that, and people in different countries, in the Muslim countries, you have different customs people will have. Like you see, you have Afghanistan and what they're doing. Then you'll have like Saudi Arabia, and you have North Africa, and you have these different places. So I think that these different countries have different cultures and customs and different interpretations of their religion. So I think more has to do with the culture of the country and where they came from. And yeah, if you're going to the United States, I think it's good for people to try to understand how we do things here and different ideas that we have. And I think that it's an exception, that I don't think there's billions of the Muslims. You don't see something like that happening over here all the time, or from the people that are in the United States, from the religion. So I think that, yeah, it's certainly something absolutely atrocious. And by the culture of the country that they came from, they felt that was the right thing to do. But, I'm deleting somebody for doing something like that, I think, is a stretch. And I also want to add this. Yes, women's rights. Yes. And I believe that should be definitely protected. Now, for instance, you had in old Europe, and the America in the beginning, you had the burning women at the stake. They thought people were witches. Yeah, BK, bro, it's good to see you. Yes, Kat, we must protect women and children. I agree. And, for instance, you had the burning at the stake. They used to burn women at the stake for think that they were a witch. But really, it was a lot of times, I'm not saying there weren't witches, but you had women that were being independent, that were thinking different. And in the United States, they did, there's like the Salem witch trials. And like the Puritans, and you had the Quakers, you had these different people, because they interpreted Christianity a certain way, and they didn't let people have any kind of fun or free thinking or anything. And women were restricted with rights. Same thing with other cultures and stuff like that, the way they interpret the religion that they have, which is different than Christianity, which is Islam. And I'm sure other cultures, like say in Russia, you have, although Russia with the revolution, the communist revolution was allegedly more like a pro-women, but then you have different towns, different places in Russia that didn't interpret it the way the party had it, and they had, women oppressed. So yeah, definitely women's rights should be protected, and the rights of children should be protected too, of course. And I think that this incident that occurred was, I think, universally agreed on as something quite atrocious. To go and delete and put your kid in a headlock over being with somebody, that's an extreme. As I said, different religions or non-religions can interpret it that way. It's just completely wrong. BK says the defendants always buying murder weapons at Walmart. Yeah, you're right, because we make jokes in a trial chat, like with Moki, that there's I remember one time I was talking to 49ers and Moki, and we're joking about the murder aisle at Walmart. And yeah, and they have had, terrorists that have also used Walmart to get their equipment too. So, yeah. Yeah, scared. Walmart seems to be where all the spooky stuff is going on. I'm sure Michael Myers got his equipment from there. And if they sell chainsaws at Walmart, Leatherface bought his chainsaw. If Walmart was open in the 70s, I don't know if it was. If it was open, he got his chainsaw from there. Yes, America leads the world in women's rights. That is true. And yeah, but there was times, Kat, in the beginning where they burnt people at the stake, and there were Puritans, and they would start quaking. The Quakers, like Quaker Oats, they would just go and start quaking. And so yeah, so people will say that like in Islam you have this happening, and yeah, of course you have the different cultures and people that interpret the religion a certain way. Yes, but in Christianity you had it too. You have it too in certain Christian traditions, and you had what you would call the Spanish Inquisition, when they brutally tortured people, and women and men, women, children, everybody. Children, I don't know, but they certainly tortured people that were not conforming with the state of the church at the time. So yeah, people can interpret their religion or their political philosophy, or they cannot be religious and do stuff like this. So yeah, and regardless of what they would have believed, they would have done stuff like this. So yeah, I certainly think that when you're in America, and we're not like the Quakers, we're not like the burning people at the stake, we're not like some of the other countries over there that are not protecting rights and stuff like that. So America, it's a democratic republic where we have to have this all respected. So I think it's terrible that this occurred, and certainly guilty in my opinion. And there is a lot of times with this Ali trial where there's the religion being brought up. Of course, it's going to be brought up obviously because of the type of trial it is, because that's to do with this. They're Muslims, so they're going to naturally talk about that. And as I said, it is people could talk about it, but of course, I think it's good to respect one another. And I think universally, regardless of religion, there are people that will disagree with this type of action. Like I told you, there's Catholics, there's Protestants, there's different people that, and inside Protestantism and Catholicism, you interpret things differently. So, yeah, I think that it is best to go by the person and what these people interpret it as rather than them as a whole. It's easy to generalize a group of people. And a lot of people don't even like religion. Like, people think that religion itself is something barbaric and backwards, and that's why they had the atheistic movements. But if they're atheists, they could still do something like this. So it's just up to the person and how the person interprets it. And there are evil people in this world. There are people, remember, the path to hell is paved with good intentions. So you're going to have people that are going to think they're doing the right thing and do stuff like this. So, yeah, I think universally the golden rule it could be agreed and applied here that to not, do stuff like this. And my mother was abused Irish Catholic. That is unfortunate. And we have to move forward, not backwards. I'm in UK, and how dare the Middle East move to US while despising their laws? Yeah, the individuals that are hating on America or the UK, it's completely not right for them to try to do any kind of attacks. Now, in those countries, remember, in those countries where they came from, they probably would have done that over there. Okay, so that's something that they would have hated their own country. They left their country, so they couldn't have liked their country. So, yeah, I think that they came from Africa or they came from somewhere in the Middle East. Yeah, I mean, you got to, get with the program. There are, like if I were going to go over to, of course, if I was going to go to Middle East, I'd make sure to not go to a place where, where you have people that are doing this kind of stabbing. But, yes, if I'm going to one of those countries, I would respect them and their culture. But of course, I try to not get myself where, place in Africa where they cut people up for no reason. So it's not even about the religion itself, but about the people that are just going to do stuff anyway like that because, they're not, it's like a third world country where you're not going to be developed enough. Like, say, Dubai seems like a place that people could go that you're not going to probably get yourself attacked. I mean, a lot of countries over there, if you do something like that, they'll go cut your hands off or something because they don't want a crime, So I guess they couldn't do it over there, they do it over here, but it's also the lawmakers I blame for this too. Skirt. And in Cat TV, I totally agree with you. Exactly. And basically, and I'll talk about the honor killings, okay? An honor killing is honor deletion. It's a type of murder in which a person is deleted by or because of their partner, typically a form of femicide. It is caused by culturally associated... Oh, hello, Remy. It's great to see you. Welcome. Are deleted because of their partner, typically a form of femicide. It is caused by the culturally sanctioned beliefs that the homicide and femicides are necessary to retribution for the perceived dishonoring of the family or victims. Hello, Remy. It's great to see you. And also, we have at a Walmart in the United States, there has been a murder. There is 11 people that were stabbed in up north from me. It was at a Walmart. And we have people that are, of course, saying that the person was from another country, so people are saying that the religion is responsible, but as I was saying, it's like people that are going to do these kind of things are going to do them anyway. It doesn't matter what religion they believed in exactly, in my opinion. And we're also talking a little bit about the Ali trial, too, because it had something to do with it. All right, Cat TV says, family across the road from a son's dad murdered his father-in-law last year from Middle East. And they shouldn't... Okay, family road son's murder. Well, yeah, I don't know what the circumstances were, but Uh, people should try to. If everyone smoked, so I don't smoke any. I don't smoke anything. But I guess the joke is if everyone smokes some weed, everybody will be more calm and not doing this to other people. And you have video footage of him being arrested. Right now, a lot of times it'll be from the culture or the country they have. They have certain traditions in their country. It's not really about a religion, but about the country they came from. They had certain ways of viewing things. And as I said, you got people everywhere, all over the world. Like you have Brian Koberger, who is from America. That look what he did. You have Ted Bundy. Look what he did. So you'll have these people that are just going to do that anyway. Like they're going to do it in their own country where they came from. So yeah, I think that it is terrible the attack that occurred, and it's the politicians and the lawmakers. I feel do not really care about the people that much, and things like this happen. So, and I did not watch any of the Ali trial if it was on today, so I don't exactly know what occurred with it. So, and Shecky says, yeah. And Kat says, we tend not to chop people's heads and arms off here. And, right. And I mean, yeah, I mean, you have people in different places and countries that will do stuff like that, right? Because say you have like a third world country where people will do that, right? And then you have a first world, like I think that over here you have people that will do things like that to each other. Not necessarily a government doing it, but you have people that will do that to each other. And over there in those other countries, you have people that will do stuff like that. But as I said, in my opinion, it's not about the religion itself, but people, like what country they came from and whatever like customs they had there. Now, but in America, we have the deletion penalty. We have it here for certain situations, but you'll have people like Brian Kober that will do stuff like that. So I do think that in a broad sense, in a broad term umbrella of different things, you will have people that are good, people that are evil, that will do stuff, people have good intentions, that will do something bad. All right. So but back in the medieval times, they did stuff like that, like the Spanish Inquisition. That was something that they did. And, yeah. So over time, we became more going away from stuff like that. But then again, you have Jack the Ripper. You have Ted Bundy. You have people that are going to do that anyway. So people that are going to do stuff like that, or if they're in power or not, are going to do that anyway because it's something they're going to do. And I am glad that I'm here I like my country. I think America is the greatest country on earth, and it is great to be kept safe. But for instance, like the Taliban, for instance, like the stuff to do over there, it's certainly something that is unwelcoming, the way they handle things with that. And Libby says, I don't know anything about this stuff that deals with other countries. Understood, Libby. And Kat says, we tend not to chop people's arms off here. That is true. We tend not to do it too much. And in continuing with the honor deletions that occur, all right, the murders are condemned by the International Convention and human rights organizations, while various communities often justify and encourage honor deletions in case where the victim outsider not murdering the individual would in some regions cause family members to become accused of cowardice, of moral defect. These subsequently stigmatized in their community in the case when a victim is a family member or the murder evolves from the murderer's reception of the victim has brought shame and dishonor to the entire family, which could lead to the rejection by violating the moral norms of the community. Typically, from murders include being relationships or having associations with the social groups. And include being the relationship having associations with social groups outside the family may lead to social exclusion of the family. Stigma by associations. Examples are paramaterial, extramaterial, and postmaterial 6 in the case of divorce and widowship. refusing to enter the arranged or forced marriages. All right, so this must be have to do with the Ali trial. Maybe that's something that her family believed in. Seeking a divorce or material separation, encouraging the interfaith interracial relations, even friendships, having relations with someone from different caste or disability, being victim of sexual crimes, dressing, clothing, jewelry, accessories that are associated with the sexual deviants or engaged in relationships despite moral marriages, and impediments or bans in homosexuality. Yeah, I want to, although with my alien abilities, I'm able to regrow my body parts back. I still would like to keep mine as well. And Kat says, haha, BK, my main street, recognizable. It's not being, it's light racist. It's been lefty all more of my life. Just facts. Okay. And he says evolution. Alright, so just kind of giving a little bit more about what this is exactly is. I want to see about if there's an Ali trial update after I read this little part. Just getting more information about this honor deletion thing. Okay, so yeah, I don't BK. I don't mind a diverse community of people. I like, of course, I'm against crime and stuff like that. And if people, yeah, shout out to aliens, angels, yeah, things like that. But I like where I am. I was around the area that I'm at is like a black area because it became black later. Like I was around all kinds of different cultures and people. At the same time, I like Europe and I like my ancestry and stuff like that. And I'm not against that, but at the same time, not against other people's. But as I said, I'm just speaking for myself, not speaking for other people. People have their own opinions, and that's all good. And through both men and women commit are victims of the honor deletions in many countries. Conformity to the moral standards implies different behavior for men and women, including stricter standards for chastity. For women, in many families, the honor motive is used by men as a pretext to restrict the rights of women. Honor deletions are performed in communities intents to punish violations of social, sexual, religious, or family norms, hierarchies in many cases. Of the honor deletions are committed by family members against female relatives, kind of like with the Ali trial, considered to have disgraced her family. As I said, in Christianity, you had stuff like this happen, too. Mainly in the past. Mainly in the past, where they had people where, as I said, they had burning women at the stake. They had women being burned at the stake. You had, the Quakers and the what's it called, the Puritans and stuff like that. So in Christianity, in the 1700s, 1800s, you had people like this in Christianity too. All right, and Libby says, I like what you're saying better than mine, which was aliens. I forgot. Yeah, it was BK that called. It was alien. Libby says aliens, ladies, and BK said aliens, angels. I like that. Yeah, and as I said, I go by with a person. All right, because I've met many people that of different cultures and stuff like that. And there are people that are, that are Muslims they're fine, very cool people, and they have a strong faith in God, which I admire very much. And you'll have, people that do right, people do wrong, as I said. So a lot of times I don't like to generalize a group of people. Like for instance, the black people. A lot of times they're generalized in a group, but I go by the person itself specifically. And you have just said different countries that have different customs or different ways of viewing things more than a religion itself. And like as I said, I'm glad to be. I don't have no problem being white. I have no problem of being of Europe. I like Europe's culture and history and stuff. but I like and admire other cultures and different people as well. I think the cultural exchange can be very cool. So as I said, I don't mind other people. It doesn't bother me. And but I'm against crime. I'm against, everybody's against crime. I mean, everybody wants to go to a store and not have a problem. And like people want to go to be in a college dorm and not encounter a Brian Koberger that's going to stab them to death. And so as I said, I think that is exactly how it, it's a golden rule that everybody can agree on. Yeah. So, and I think that a lot of times it's good for people to view it in that way and to not let the emotions get the best of a person. And going over here, I love all the flavors of the world, right? And there's Muslims that have served the country. There's people of different, that have done, there's all the American military. You have a diverse group of people from, they're Jewish, they're Christian, or Muslim. They have all kinds of different people. And that's what, America is a nice melting pot of different people. And also, I guess England too, or the other parts of Europe, I don't really know, but I'm speaking more of like the United States. So yeah, it is a cluster of people, because if you divide the people based on these different things, you could control people in the population better. And Kat says, I'm not being racist. I literally enjoy conversing with immigrants because I literally don't see anyone anymore. Yeah, well, there's good people everywhere, and you would still be whatever religion or culture you are. You could share it with other people. So I think that it's something, cultures can share with each other. It doesn't have to be something very bad. And shout out to all of you. And very cool people in chat. And we have the honor deletions are primarily associated with the Middle East, Maghreb, Indian subcontinent, but they're also rooted in other societies. Like I said, such as the Philippines, North Caucasus, Latin America, East Africa, Mediterranean, and Europe. Europe did it. Europe they definitely did these things like this. They had arranged marriages and stuff. We don't do that anymore, but it was back in the past. And because I remember, like I talked about a couple of times in the stream, the Spanish Inquisition. They would like torture people in these medieval torture chambers, and because of the church and the church's authority, which I was raised in a Catholic family, although I'm related to Protestant bloodlines too, from both sides. Still, my, the Catholic Church is not like what it was like before. But yeah, my family ancestors did nothing to do with the stuff like that. But yeah, some of the Catholics did things like that though. And there's Protestants, Protestantism. Not all Protestants are in the KKK. Doing stuff like that, or doing other things. Like, for instance, and a perfect example of the honor deletions is Ed Gein, in which was a Texas Chainsaw Massacre was inspired by. And his mother was a very strict in religion, and she despised women, and put all kinds of stuff in his head, and messed Ed Gein up, and he was digging up dead people. He was making masks out of deleted people, and he was making lampshades out of people. So yeah, so I said that was a Christian person that did that. But they're not really Christians, of course, but they're just people that are corrupted. Yes, yeah, so it's a broad across the religious and political spectrum and cultural spectrums. And so anybody that does it, I disagree with it. Going and put your kid in a headlock like that, in my opinion, it's wrong. It's a bit of a stretch there. Now, if they're doing something really bad or something nefarious, you could correct them a different way, but going into a Hulk Hogan and doing a headlock on them is something that, it's illegal here. BK said F marriage, period. Well, yeah, many people, marriage doesn't seem to, I don't mind marriage. I think that's okay. But, of course I'm not married yet, but still, a lot of marriages end in divorce these days. BK, that's your right to believe that. And I don't blame you. I mean, a lot of the divorce rate is very high these days. And a lot of people don't like it. A lot of people's lives are miserable. So it's not like how it was back in America's past. Things used to be very different. But yeah, a lot of people don't Marriages don't really last that long these days. Cat TV says to Remy, I share the love I promise. That's good. All right. And they are also prevalent in some respective diasporas in countries which do not otherwise have social, societal norms that encourage honor deletions. Honor deletions are often associated with rural and tribal areas, and they occur in urban areas as well. I believe in a beautiful, perfect to get my marriage. Well, that's your right to believe that. And let's see. Shecky says it's a formality. Unions are two who agree. My wife is not from the USA. Oh, understood, Shecky. I didn't know she wasn't from the USA. But yeah, and a marriage is good for both people to. I believe marriage is fine. You know, I believe there are still good people out there to get married to and have a good marriage with. I think that could still be achieved. And to their vows to each other, and it's important for a man to be a man and a woman to do what she's supposed to do, or however people want to have in a relationship. They could be different politics, they could be different philosophies. Oh, thank you, Libby. Thank you. I'm scared. There's different philosophies. People have different political views, different religions. It's up to them to work it out and have the roles fulfilled as they like it. Sometimes you have a man leading the relationship. Sometimes you have a woman leading the relationship. That's fine. But like, if somebody's going to attack the wife, it's up to the man to do what he must do to defend her, regardless of what they are politically and stuff. Because usually, the men are usually physically stronger than women, so they're seen more as to protect her from things. But as I said, they could have different ways of handling that power dynamic. But it doesn't mean women should be oppressed. And I think it's a weak thing to try to have the women oppressed. You know, like they burn people at the stake and stuff like that. And men were already physically stronger and more had an advantage already. So I think it's great to have a system where everybody's treated equally. I think that's the best way to have it. And Jackie says, we got married 30 years ago, and she was able to stay here. It's been all positive for us. Well, I'm glad it was positive for you, Shecky. 30 years is a long time. I'm nearly 30. I'm 27. So, yeah, that's very cool, dude. Shout out to you and her. As long as men don't hit women, women hit men. Yes, that sounds perfect. I like that. And Shecky says, it's just a piece of paper in the end. Yeah, exactly. And Libby said, Remy has said nothing to Libby. Yeah, shout out to Remy. She's cool. And I appreciate her commentary of whatever she has to say. And people have right to, express themselves and whatever they want to say here. It's fine. And everybody here is welcomed, and it's a place for everybody to just hang out and talk about different things. Right. And Cecil says, that's great. You have been blessed, Shecky. Yes, amen. He's been blessed. Right. Let's see if there's any updates on the Ali trial, and then we'll get into some alien stuff. Oh. Ali trial. The case of the second paper counts. Scared. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Alrighty. And here we go right here. See if there's any Ali trial updates. Doesn't seem like there's anything going on like that. Okay. And there's nothing going on. Alright, good. So Redrum, attempted Redrum. The Doi Doi alien. What's that mean? Red. Drum definition. Cat says marriage is a pipe dream. Scared? Oh, yeah, okay. I was being a doi doi alien for a second. Cecil. I will be interested to see what happens because I wonder if there's going to be any issues with if people think that there's some sort of a with the religious bias. What I mean by that is if people think that it would sway a jury or not. But besides that, if they think that there was something with that, which I'm really talking about, how there could be an appeal if they're found guilty. They could say that there was religious prejudice, and that's why they found them guilty. That could get them appealed by what the attorneys could do. But I think logically, yeah, I would say attempted murder definitely. I should say the other word, which is redrum, attempted redrum. Yeah, I think so. Why not? But unless there's some other factor, like I mentioned, that would cause the jury to think otherwise, I think, yeah, sure. Elise said nobody reporting her to police. Scared. All right. So talked about that news update, and there's nothing really new with the Ollie trial, but there's going to be something on Monday. You're welcome, Cecil. Now, there are people that are here that were not here earlier, so some of you are going to hear me repeat something for the 40th time, but we have the Baltic Sea anomaly, which is a UFO thing that occurred. Skirt, meow. All right. So, the Baltic Sea anomaly. The Baltic Sea anomaly is featured visible on an indistinct sonar image taken by Peter Lindberg, Dennis Aberg, and their Swedish Ocean X diving team while the treasure hunting. Bark. Bark. Meow. Swedish Ocean X team while treasure hunting. On the floor of the northern Baltic Sea, at the center of the Gulf of Bothnia, on June 2011, the team suggested that their sonar image showed an object with unusual features of seemingly non-natural origin, promoting speculation published in a tabloid newspaper that the object was sunken UFO. A consensus of experts and scientists say that the image most likely shows a natural geological formation. What happened to Remy? I don't know. Either she's lurking or maybe she went to bed or something. I don't know. And the Swedish-based Ocean X describes themselves as treasure hunters and salvage operators. According to the team, they returned from the expedition in the Baltic Sea between Sweden and Finland. With the blurry but interesting sonar image while searching for the old shipwreck in the summer of 2011, they have claimed their image shows a 60-meter, 200 feet diameter circular object with features that appeared possibly man-made. The group revisited the site the following year to get more detailed sonar scans, following a story published by UK tabloid newspaper Daily Mail in June 2012. A number of wildly speculative theories became popular. Samples of stone recovered at the site by Ocean X were given to Volker Butchert, an associated professor of geology at Stockholm University. Butchert's analysis of the samples indicated that most are grantees or greenies, and Sandstones. Among the samples was a loose piece of blastic volcanic rock. Typically, of many of the site, which is out of place on the seafloor, but not unusual because the whole northern Baltic region is so heavily influenced by glacial thawing process. Both feature and the rock samples are likely to have formed in connection with the glacial and post-glacial processes. Possibly, these rocks were transported there by glaciers, explained by butcher Swedish geologist Frederick Klingberg and Martin Jacobson, say that the chemical composition of the samples provided resembles that the noodles that are uncommon in the beds at the material found, including the limonite and geothite, can indeed be formed by nature itself. The geologist did not have actual samples from the object, but from the seafloor surrounding material. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Sheki, for the your position on this. Yeah. I understand, Cecil. That's what I think too. DK says Bay Area, California is very diverse. Oh yeah. Well, that's great. I'm glad it is. Libby says, Remy, we love you if you could see us. Oh, that's very sweet of you, Libby. Response. The single sonar image provided by Ocean X has drawn criticism from a number of sources. Hanumant Sai of the Woods whole oceanographic institution has said that it cannot be trusted because of several distortions rendered it virtually useless for identifying the undersea formation. According to Sai, of the distortions are due to cheap, inaccurate sonar instrument that was improperly wired and calibrated. An MSNBC report speculated that the interpretations of the image as a flying saucer are likely to result of geographic outlines intended to suggest the fictional spaceship, the Millennium Falcon. Yeah, Cecil is a cool name, Bax. Onto the sonar image by the tabloid newspaper. Scientist Charles Paul and the Monterey Bay Aquarium Research Institute told Popular Mechanics that the indisect sonar image was more likely of a rock outcrop, sediment dropped from the fishing trawler, even a school of fish. Paul characterized the story as curious and fun, but much of the ado about nothing. Oh yeah, facts, chat. Reacting to a photo published by the Swedish newspaper Expression, purportedly taken by Ocean X during a dive to collect rock samples, Goran Erikberg, a marine archaeologist, Maritime Museum in Stockholm, said a natural geological formation can't be ruled out. I agree. The finding looks weird since it's completely circular by nature, has produced stranger things than that. Martin Jacobson, professor of marine geology and geophysics at Stockholm University, also examined the image. I'm guessing it's some sort of sandstone, but to make things clear, I've only seen media images and I need more material before making an official statement. Other experts say the image quite possibly shows a grouping of rocks despite the Ice Age glaciers or maybe basalt or moraine. Oh, hello, Brian. Nice to meet you. Katz says she's Brian. According to the Finnish planetary geomorphologist Jarno Kortenimi, volcanic based explains, such as the hydrothermal vent, are not possible for the Fenno-Scandinavian shield, as a thick craton with no active volcanism after the Proterozoic regional bathymetry explains the runaway formation under the autonomy as part of the larger group of similar NNWSSE oriented mounds which occur located on the bottom of the Bothnian Sea. Kortemai said that the runaway is most likely a natural rock formation formed by a glacier. Very beautiful name, Libby. All right, Jonathan Hill of the Mars Space Flight Facility questioned the motives of Ocean X announcements, which include plans to take wealthy tourists into the submarine to visit the site. He was quoted in 2012, whenever people make extraordinary claims, it's always a good idea to consider a movement whether for a moment whether they are personally benefiting from the claim or it's truly objective observations. He suggested that it would have been simple to break a piece off a piece and have it geologically tested, and said the test results showing it was simply rock not have benefited Peter Lindenberg. Lindenberg suggested in 2019 interview that there may be possibility for a new expedition via television production, which they are involved. Okay, Moki, glad to have you back. I was catching them up with the thing that we were talking about before. Okay. Also going to talk about Beanie Road. Benini Road. Where allegedly this structure is some kind of a wall of some kind. I think it's quite fascinating. Read about this conspiracy theory right here. Alright, Benini Road. Benini Road, sometimes called the Benini Wall, is an underwater rock formation near the island. North Benini is the Benini chain of islands. The road consists of 0.8 kilometers long northeast southwest linear feature composed of roughly rectangular limestone blocks. Various claims have been made for this feature being either a wall, a road, or a pier, a breakwater, or other man-made structure. However, credible evidence arguments are lacking for such an origin. Physical characteristics. On September 2, 1968, while diving in 5.5 meters, 18 feet, of water off the of northwest coast of North Benini, Joseph Manson, Valentine Jacques Mayol, and Robert Angove encountered what they called a pavement of water of what later was found to be a noticeably rounded stones of varying size and thickness of these stones from a northeast southwest linear feature which is commonly known as either a Bini Road or a Benini Wall. Two similar linear features lie parallel and shoreward of the Benini Wall. The Benini Wall and two linear features lying shoreward. The Benini Wall, the two linear features lying shoreward of it, are composed of flat-lying, tabular, and roughly rectangular, polygonal, and irregular blocks. Descriptions of the Benini Road found in various books and articles greatly exaggerate the regularity and rectangularity of the blocks composing of these features. Shout out to Aliens Angels. They are certainly all angels. Shout out to Aliens Angels and hello Aaron. What a lovely surprise. Great to see you. That's fine. Yeah, y'all can do whatever y'all want. I don't care. But thank y'all for listening if y'all want to. That's fine. Are composed of flat-lying, tubular, roughly rectangular, and polygonal and regular blocks. Descriptions of Benini Road found in various books and articles greatly exaggerate the regularity of the rectangularity of the blocks composing these features. The Benini Road and largest of the three linear features, a northeast-southwest trending feature. The pronounced hook, southwest end. It consists of stone blocks measuring as much as 3 to 4 meters in horizontal dimensions and the average size of 2 to 3 meters. Yeah, you could send it to me, Moki. That's fine. The larger blocks show complementary edges which are lacking in smaller blocks. The two narrower and shorter, approximately 50 to 60 meters long linear features lying shoreward of the Benini Road consist of smaller tubular stone blocks that are only 1 to 2 meters and maximum horizontal breadth, having rounded corners. The blocks compose of 1 to 2 meters maximum horizontal. Okay, and the blocks consist of limestone composed of carbonate, cemented shell. Harsh is called the bedrock. Bedrock is a native to the Bahamas, and the highly rounded nature in blocks forming the Benini Road indicates that the significant thickness of their original surface has been removed, forming the Benini Road, indicating significant thickness of the original surface removed by biological, physical, and chemical processes. Okay, here we go. Saving these links. And Aaron says, tomorrow I'm free. Been chaos here since I can't focus, Libby. It's different. Aaron, if definitely Aaron, or that would be weird, right? Okay, night, friends. Keep an eye on Moki. She's wild. That's true. See you all tomorrow, Alien Night. Okay, Aaron, good night to you. Have a... Good luck with all your guests. Alright. Okay, let's go here. Our physical and chemical process. Given the degree to which these blocks have been eroded, it highly implausible that any original surface feature include any tool marks and inscriptions would have survived this degree of erosion. After a very detailed examination, the Benini Road and other linear features, Gifford and Ball made the following observations. I might get spanked. Scared. Scared. After a detailed examination of the Benini Road and other linear features, Gifford and Ball made the following observations. 3 features unconnected to the southwest end and scattered blocks are present there but not form. A well-defined linear feature connected the seaward, middle, and showward features. And right on BK. The 3 features are unconnected, and southwest end scattered blocks are present there but do not form well-defined linear features connecting the seaward and middle showward features. No evidence exists anywhere over the 3 features. No evidence exists anywhere over the 3 features of the 2 courses of blocks, even a single block set squarely on top of another. Not enough blocks. Yeah. Meow. Meow, meow. Libby. Scared. Scared. Not enough blocks to lie in the vicinity of the 3 features have formed now and destroyed the second rocks. Bedrock closely underlies the entire area of the 3 features, eliminating the possibilities of excavations or channels between them. Indications are that the blocks of the inner and middle features have always rested on a layer of loose sand. No evidence was found of the blocks being cut into a founded or underlying bedrock surface. In areas of the seaward features where blocks rest directly on the bedrock surface, no evidence was found regular or symmetrical supports beneath any of the blocks. We saw no evidence on any of the blocks of regular or repeated patterns of grooves or depressions that might interpreted as tool marks. The inner middle feature are continuous over the distance of over the 50 meters, 160 feet, though the seaward features extend several hundred meters farther to the northeast. It too, with the founded continuous enough to have served some kind of therefore. Moki's tired, so much sun. Oh, okay, understood. Oh yeah, I'm sure. The sun will certainly do that. As noted below, these observations are disputed by investigators. For example, some investigators claim that where sand and has washed any away between the seams and another course of blocks can seen along the small blocks underlying these blocks. However, detailed evidence are clearly documented documents alleged presence of the continuous second layer of stones beneath the stones forming a currently exposed pavement has not been published. In a reputable scientific venue with the detail that is needed for crucial evaluation. Pictures posted in various web pages of stones alleged to be artificial wedge stones and prop stones fail as convincing evidence for a second course of stones because they are typically smaller in size, do not form continuous course, and frequently lie between directly beneath blocks from surface Brimini roads, and this is not what we would expect the actual underlying course of man-made masonry. VK watches too many trials and got in the middle of a divorce. I'm scared. David Zink states, most of the blocks were now clearly resting on either of the underlying bedrock or smaller stones on the seafloor. David Zink. This led him to conclude this fact had an important anchorological consequence. It meant the idea held by some antologists that the blocks now visible were only the top of the more complex structures were likely incorrect. Led him to conclude this fact had an important archaeological consequence. It meant that the idea held by some antologists that the blocks now visible were only to the top of the more complex structures was likely incorrect. In addition, early studies of the Benini Road, Guilford and Ball and David Zink report taking numerous samples and cores of the examination. It is also safe to assume that the certain number of the innumerable visitors in Benini Road have chipped off pieces of it. Scientific sampling, souvenir, hunting would have left behind modern tool marks. And the various blocks composing of the Benini Road for later investigators to find. If the chat didn't have any bad romance, there would be no romance. So be glad we have some type of romance. I'm about to go flirt with everybody in that chat room. Watch this. Cecil says, guys, it's time for me to head to Sleep City. That's hilarious, dude. Sleep City. I like that. Always great show, buddy. Stay safe, everyone, and God bless. And God bless you too, Cecil. Thank you for coming, buddy. Yeah, hugs. Yeah, hugs. And I got Libby right there. She's sending me some Timu love. I like that. Scared. In addition, early studies in Benini Road, Guilford and Ball, David Zink reported talking. Okay, we talked about that. Okay, so age. Attempts have been made to determine the age of this feature using different techniques. These include direct radiocarbon dating of the stones composing the Benini Road and the uranium thorium dating of the marine limestone which Benini Road lies. In 1978, the radiocarbon laboratory operated by the Department of Geology and University of Miami dated samples from a core collected by E.A. Shin in 1977 from Benini Road. In 1979, Colvert and others reported dates to 2780. And others reported dates to UM 1358 and UM 1360 and 335 plus 90 14C year BP. UM 1361 from while rock samples date of 3510 the 10 to the 7th power to CR year BP. From shells extracted from the bedrock are 22708 to the 4 to C to the 14th power year BP. I'm on your EOS. Scared. Scared. Now y'all on my EOS. I'm friendly, sweet lady. I love spicy chat, everybody. Let's give spicy chat a shout out. We got some dragon pepper ladies up in here. From carbonate cementing the bedrock core, these dates are temporarily consistent in the shells composing the beach rock core from Benini Road, dated older than the cement holding them together, and beach rock. These dates can be interpreted as indicating that the shells composing of the Benini Road are uncorrelated for temporal environment variations. And radiocarbon about 3,500 years and old because of time averaging for other taphomoic factors. A random collection of shells likely would yield radiocarbon date that is a few hundred years earlier than when they finally accumulated of shells which were cemented to form a bedrock. Actually occurred. The radiocarbon dates from cement demonstrate that the bed beach rock composed of Benini Road from about 2,800 radiocarbon years, but the cementation of pre-existing sediments that accumulated about 1,300 years earlier compared to the dates from shells cemented appears in the whole rock dates reflected samples containing very proportions of shells cement without any significant contamination by younger radiocarbon. Both these dates and interpretations are consistent with a detailed research by David Strasser that concluded that the layer of beach rock compromising of Benini Road formed beneath the surface of the island was exposed to coastal erosion by 1900 to 2000 years ago. Okay, Moki, good night to you, and enjoy yourself. Time for a husband to her to get spanked by her husband. Oh, okay, well, you go enjoy that. Scared. Proponents of the Benini Road being man-made feature argue that these radiocarbon dates are invalid because they were obtained entirely from a whole rock's samples and subject to contamination from younger carbon. Yeah, shout out to Aliens Angels, yeah. The background data reported by Calvert and others concerning the radiocarbon dates from Benini Road. Oh yeah, I know. Yeah, Remy, I'm glad you blow me a kiss. I'm so thankful for that. I always catch yours and blow it back to you, and you blow one to me and I catch yours. Scared. Benini Road demonstrated that not all of these dates come entirely from whole rock samples. That dates from shells and clearly young cement holding them together, as beach rocks are temporarily consistent, argues against any significant alteration of their radiocarbon content. In addition, other studies using radiocarbon dating study sea levels and age of sediment and bedrock within the Bahamas had not reported any significant problems with the contamination by younger radiocarbon, and their detailed research and David Strasser accepted the radiocarbon. Scared. Guilford and Ball attempt to establish a medium age using uranium thorium dating for the Benini Road by dating a whole rock sample of the marine limestone underlies the bedrock and composes the Benini Road. They describe this sample as being a whole rock marine limestone under the beach rock of Paradise Point. North of Benini, some reconstellation samples yielded a uranium thorium dated to 14,992 plus 258 BP. Sent it to Cecil. Scared. Supporters the idea that the Benini Road is a man-made structure frequently cite that the date is support of its being artificial. Uranium theridium date by the published Guilford and Ball regarded as the invalid and meaningless date for the two reasons. First, the staple being partially recrystallized means that this limestone was not a closed system as required for meaningful uranium theridium date. As a result, the specific date only as an apparent date that completely lacks any specific scientific value interpreting the age of marine limestone and underlying the Benini Road currently specific species of coral mollusks that can be demonstrated by to a lack of reconstellation using the petrographic and X-ray diffraction techniques are preferred samples for dating. Any limestone samples that shows at least the amount of recrystallization is now regarded as incapable of yielding a scientifically valid date, not even worth the attempt at dating. Finally, it is well documented that about 1500 calendar years ago, sea level in this region was between 95 and 100 meters, 312 and 328 meters below present sea level. As a result, the location from the Gifford and Ball collected The sample of limestone was between 90 and 95 meters, 295 to 312 feet above sea level, and the time indicated by the uranium thorium dates of 14,992. Therefore, it is physically impossible for the marine date. Therefore, it is physically impossible for the marine limestone underlying the Benini Road have accumulated around 1500 BP. Right, so that is a very winded explanation about this formation here that might have been man-made at some point in time. All right, so that is the deep blue. That could have been man-made, they think. They don't really know. Okay. There's Oprah. Cecil went to sleep. There's a couple of people lurking right now. There's 6 people, shout to y'all, that are lurking right now. And this stream has had 62 views so far. But the chat is just us 3. Yeah. Yeah, so I think that with a lot of these structures and things that have been seen in the ground and stuff are things. There are certain structures, I believe, that were part of UFOs and aliens and things like that later on were used by them. But they're like fossilized, but they came from them originally. Yeah, shout out to lurkers. And yeah, so when you have, I thought a lot of stuff could have been man-made or alien-made, but some things may not be. But I would say a lot of seems to be some evidence that a lot of natural structures were, some things could be from UFOs or things humans built a long time ago. So that's always pretty cool. Well, that's funny, BK. Yeah, now Libby, I believe aliens are for real. Yes, I believe aliens do exist. There's been a lot of people that have had alien abduction sightings and stuff like that. And they had this situation occur where the aliens came here, right? And people get abducted. And people have memories about it. Now, some people think that alien abductions and stuff like that are fake. But I do think that it's actually a factual thing. Yeah, and UFOs, like a Cecil seen UFO. And there's also something called, the plasmoids, which we talked about. And people think that those are like some sort of an angelic thing. I'll show you what that is. Soon I'll be coming out with a video more about the UFO stuff for y'all to understand it. Oh, right on, Libby. Right on. I'm scared. Alright, that's an example of a plasmoid. One right there, and that's one right there. And you see, like, yeah, people think these are some sort of UFO type thing. I certainly think that these plasmoids are certainly real. Like, for instance, like right here. You know, that is an example of a plasmoid. Yeah, something's coming in August. Let's see. Okay, this shower peaks in mid-August when Earth intersects the dust left by the comet Swift-Tuttle. View chew on the other showers and learn more. In August, 3 meteor showers reached the peak of activity in the Perseids in August 12, the K Kygenids in August 17, and Erigids in August 31st. Libby says, we had an earthquake last week. We are on the fault line. Skirt. It scared the shield out of me. Oh, yeah, that's very scary, definitely. Alright, so we're going to have some meteor shower happening in August. A lot of time, the orbs and the plasmoids will fight each other. $31. Now, on August 31st, there will be a quarter moon that will rise noon, my local time, and sets around midnight. And some other examples of the plasmoids. Let's see, the cigar-shaped UFO. Lily said, my brother-in-law said that we need the family to come to their house to be safe. Yeah, Libby, it sounds like an unfortunate place to be in because of what's going on. Right, this is a cigar-shaped UFO. Now, Libby, I in California, there's due to be some really bad earthquake in California at some point, but it hasn't happened yet. I heard in the 90s there was a very bad earthquake that happened, and they're due for another one, but it's not happened yet. Yeah, because with earthquakes, there's like little warning about it, and there's little like tremors in the ground, and it starts shaking. It can get very violent. They have them a lot in Japan. Because I have some friends over in Japan, and sometimes there will be earthquakes that'll happen. It can kind of like tear up everything. Now, what I like when earthquakes aren't happening was different movies. I like watching like say in 2012 they had that movie 2012 and the world was supposed to end in 2012. There was supposed to be this end of the world scenario. When that happens, they completely collapse. Everything just collapses, but it didn't happen. So I thought that movie was interesting. I like the different movies about apocalypses are freaky, but they're also telling about what could possibly be. That is something else that they do. There's a lot of sci-fi movies that I like, and I think I like War of the Worlds because that was when I was growing up seeing. And then there's these other ones about these various other ones and these other fictional scenarios. So, yeah, but definitely I believe aliens are real, and you have a lot of these different UFO encounters that people have shared. They're very, very telling. The movie Twister, I think I've seen that before. I like Independence Day. That's a very good movie. Hello, Mary Toodles. Yeah, so I think Independence Day is a very good movie because it shows the human race uniting together behind a common enemy. Yeah, that was very good. I like that one. Another kind of sci-fi movie I like is the Jurassic movies. Because you have those lizard things, those dinosaurs, and they may have been connected with the creations and the fallen angels allegedly, and that's why God wiped them out, according to a religious interpretation. So, yeah, that was pretty good. Yeah, the sci-fi it explores different things from different perspectives. I like horror and comedy and stuff like that too. Yeah, she says Twister is good, and it's sad because cows are flying in the air. Yeah, yeah. I remember I saw Twister in like 2010. That was a very good movie. Absolutely. Yeah, Moo. Moo scared. It kind of reminds me of Wizard of Oz with the cows flying in the air. That's what it kind of reminds you of. Oh, hello, Abby. It's great to see you. She says, just popping in to say hi. Love y'all. I had too many shots tonight and threw up everywhere, so it's smooth sailing night from here, going back to bed, but wanted to say have a great stream before. Oh, thank you, Abby, for your compliment. I hope that you feel better. All right, coming here, going there. Let's see. Shouts to the spaceship cats. Hmm. Oh wow, wow, I'd be scared. Wow, definitely, that one is. I'd imagine. I definitely imagine. Yeah, I have been drinking nothing but absorbing energy from across the universe. Hilarious chat. All right, Twister is a 1996 American disaster film directed by Jan de Bont and written by Michael Crichton and Anne Marie Martin. It was produced by Crichton and Kathleen Kennedy. Laurie McDonald, a couple of different people. Plot. On Oklahoma farm in 1969, young Joe Harding and her parents and their dog take shelter from an F5 tornado that destroys their farm and Joe's father's Joe's father rather, not fathers, as he tries to secure their cellular door. And meteorological so Joe, tornado chasing obsessed meteorological. Oh wait, 27 years later, Joe is a tornado obsessed meteorologist leading a team of storm chasers. He estranged husband Bill, an ex storm chaser turned to television weatherman, travels Oklahoma with his fiancee Melissa to obtain Joe's signature on their divorce papers. Good night, Abby. This stream won't be on for much longer. We'll be ending it soon. I remember seeing this movie around 2010. It was very good. Joe shows Bill the realized Dorothy a device containing hundreds of small weather sensors that he conceptuated. Oh, it's 11 p.m. It's 10:02 where I am. Joe shows the realized Dorothy a device containing hundreds of small weather sensors that he conceptuated. Dorothy could revolutionize tornado research and potentially provide an earlier storm warning system, but the device must be developed dangerously close to tornado work. Joe's team rushes off to chase a developing storm, failing to sign the papers, forcing Bill and Melissa to follow. Jonas Miller, a rival storm chaser and former colleague with the corporate funding, stole Bill's idea for his own Dorothy like device, DOT3, which he plans to deploy first claim credit for the design. Enraged, Bill agrees to accompany Joe and a team for one day to launch Dorothy as a team pursues a developing tornado. Joe's truck runs into a ditch. Joe and Bill shelter under a bridge and tornado destroys the vehicle, one of four Dorothy prototypes. Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely. I'll do that. With more storms developing, Bill leads, and the guy that plays the main character in this is a guy that was Brock from Titanic, the guy who was in the leading the submarine team. Bill leads the team in his own truck casing in a F2 tornado. They encounter Jonah's team just as Bill predicts, as changing the tornado path and diverts their course. Hey Eric, good to see you, buddy. Welcome. Yeah, Ellen Hunt. Thank you. Oh. Good to see you, Eric. Welcome. All right, so the team visits Joe's aunt, Meg, in nearby Wakita, the rest and food. The team then scrambles to chase a developing twister. Joe and Bill intercept an F3 tornado with unpredictable movements. It knocks over the power lines that crush Dorothy the second. With the truck damage, Bill forces them to retreat, but Joe undergoes an emotional breakdown over the failure and unloads about her motivations and her father's deletion. Bill admits that his feelings for Joe are unaware of. Milicia is overhearing them through the CB radio. Libby says, here in the summer, it's always rains and sunshine and the same time weather, very wishy-washy here. The team overnights in Fairview to repair the vehicles while there is no Joe signs the papers. A nocturnal F4 wedge tornado forces the team and others into a garage pit near a drive in theater for protection. The tornado destroys the garage, 2 team vehicles, and the injuries several people before proceeding toward Wakita. Before the team rushes there, Milicia ends her and Bill's relationship, encouraging him to reunite with Joe. This is a cool movie. I mean, I enjoyed it when I saw it. It was nice. It was a scary movie too. And a team visits Joe's Aunt Meg in nearby Wakita for the rest of the food. The team and then scrambles to chase developing twister. Joe and Bill intercept an F3 tornado with the unpredictable movements. It knocks over the power line. Okay, I read that. Okay. It's going to be banned in the UK. Wow. Let's see about that. Wikipedia threatens to limit access to the website. Wow. Oh, it's to comply with the User Online Safety Act. When I run ads in the UK, there's a tax on it. There's all kinds of laws over in Europe, like they have online safety stuff. That's what they're trying to pass. That's why they're going to restrict Wikipedia over there. They're going to be doing something else with ads, as I said. With ads over there, it costs a little bit of a tax because of their other systems. Europe has a lot of regulations on things. The team overnights in Fairview to repair the vehicles while Joe signs the papers. A nocturnal F4 wedge tornado forces the team and others into a garage pit near a drive-in theater for protection. The tornado destroys the garage and two team vehicles and injuries several people before proceeding toward Wakita. Before the team rushes there, Milicia ends her and Bill's relationship, encourages him to reunite with Joe. You're welcome. You're welcome, Kat. Libby says there was a crazy movie that I watched about Florida and hurricane came through, and then all these freaking alligators were getting in their homes. Crawl is the name of it. Oh, thank you, thank you. Right, nice, nice. Scared. I like alligators too, buddy. All right, a little bit more, and we done. And the town's storm sirens provide a little warning time ahead of the tornado, which leaves Wakita. It runs and flattens Aunt Meg's house, and the team. Yes.
Oh, just your shirt's different. That's all.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. And however, rescues Aunt Meg and her dog. National severe storms laboratory forecasts that a potentially record-breaking tornado will form the next day. Inspired by Aunt Meg's wind vane sculptures, Bill and Joe add aluminum wings to last Dorothy prototype sensors, making them more aerodynamic. Scared. Scared. And BK said he used to wrestle alligators. Nice. True to the forecast, a mile-wide F5 tornado forms the next day, and team pursues it. Bill and Joe attempt to place Dorothy the Third in its path. However, the device is knocked over to destroyed by an airborne tree. Meanwhile, Jonas attempts to deploy DOT-3, ignoring Bill and Joe's warning that the tornado is challenging direction. And headed straight to him. The tornado sweeps Jonas's truck away from the leash in him, and this drives Eddie to destroying the DOT-3 with the last remaining Dorothy affixed to of Bill's truck. Bill and Joe drive directly at the tornado and then jump out, the sacrificing the truck and ensure that Dorothy 4 can release the probes and the wedges. Alien, like, what? Yeah, okay. Like, get the heck out of here. I ride an alligator. Ah, he asked the golden that question. Does ride anacondas? Crocodile Good Dundee. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. Straight at him. The tornado sweeps and Jonas' truck away and deleting him and his driver Eddie, destroying DOT-3 with the last remaining Dorothy affixed to the bed and Bill's truck. And Bill and Joe drive directly at the tornado and then jump out, the sacrificing the truck to ensure that would provide immediate scientific data. But without their truck, Joe and Bill are forced to run Tornadoes shift toward them inside a nearby pump house. They strap themselves to deep pipes as the building rips away. The F5's core passes over them and find themselves interviewed in the vortex. After the tornado despite the team that celebrates the success of Bill Rhodes. All right, Libby, we're about to end it, but thank you, Libby, for coming here. I appreciate you very much, and have a good night. Eric says, I just miles away from a very deadly tornado in Lakewood, FL. One of my bedroom house was shocking. At least a dozen people were deleted. Oh my goodness, that's terrible. That's absolutely terrible that they that happened. Yeah, tornadoes can be very deadly. I've seen videos of like a tornado happening and it just wipes out a whole neighborhood and it just deletes everything in its path. Yeah, it's very disturbing. You know. Yeah. Also, Kroll, I'll be interested to see that movie about that too. Alien fam, it was fun. Love, loss, sweet alien. Okay, you're welcome, Libby. Yeah. Also with Kroll, that movie has to be pretty cool. And with Kroll, that's something I have to watch. That's about those hurricanes with alligators. And yeah, tornadoes. There's one in my city that just kind of like came through a certain area where they always come through because it's a lot of open space in a certain part. And yeah, people were filming it just like going down the street. It was quite crazy. Yeah, and it could happen in a drop of a hat. It's like when the hot and air and the cool air mix together, and you can see it. Like I could tell on a weather radar because I learned from Ryan Hall y'all about it, and how it's just a little spot, and you see the two different, like the red, yellow, and it just kind of like turns, and the red and the also sometimes red and purple, like it twists around. It's like throwing tomatoes at a wall. It's the equivalent of doing that. It just causes a lot of problems. Yeah. Definitely, I can understand what you're saying, Eric, about that. Okay. Understood, chat. Oh, that's cute. That is cute, cat. That about hugging alligators in a loving way. Yeah. I have an alligator puppet toy. Eric says 1998, 42 people were deleted in a tornado in 2 days in Florida. Okay, thank you. That was the year I was born. Wow. That's very unfortunate. Let's see about this incident. Let's see. It was a couple of days before I was born. Wow, it really decimated everything. Oh, hello, Doe. Good to see you. We're closer to the ending of it, but we're talking about tornadoes because about the tornado movie, and over on the talking about a situation happened 22 to 23 of February, and it caused a lot of deaths in Florida, and yeah, it was a couple of days before I was born. Yeah, so that's something that Eric shared with us. Yeah, that is something really, it looks very disturbing looking. Like right here, you have it where Oh, you thought I was older than that, Eric? Yeah. A lot of people think that I'm older than I am because of my my mind. You know, people think. Or one time I was talking to some people and thought I was a 60-year-old man, but actually I'm quite young. So I have an old soul, as they say. Yeah. So yeah, just it completely decimated everything. It looks very creepy and disturbing looking.
You need water? Hold on.
Yeah, a lot of damage. A lot of damage to property.
Hold on.
Scared.
Just a minute.
Yeah, so that's when it was coming to Florida, and that's where all these people got deleted from this tornado thing. You see, like with a tornado, it can affect some houses but not other houses. It's kind of like a power outage, can affect some places but not all other places. Yeah, it just goes straight through. Yeah, there's been some tapes and some videos of it like that. That must be like a video of it right there. Yeah, it looks evil looking. You know, tornadoes naturally look evil looking. And rest in peace to the people that died in it. And that's why it's always good to be not scared but prepared. There's just go to a safe place, to a sturdy part of the house. You know, if you get a helmet, get a helmet. Have a radio and supplies, and just hunker down. It should reduce the casualties. Because a lot of people aren't prepared or do things correctly. You know, so yeah, that's best. It's kind of like a bomb shelter. It's the equivalent of like a bomb shelter. Bomb shelter, not sheltered.
I think your water's okay, Bubbles.
It's nice you checked out Doe's channel. That's great.
All right, you want fresh water?
And Cat TV has a link. All right, thank you. Yeah, Doc's pretty. Yeah, wow. It's something Badro was catching. Nice clouds. Yeah, definitely. All right, so that was yeah, Cat. Those are some very nice clouds, and that link is uh, Badro catching some. That is her. I'll show the video. How about that? All right, this is Badro catching a video of some clouds. I recommend the channel. All right, let's pin it. All right, that's some clouds that she caught on camera. I like that. I love those clouds. It looks like a piece of art. You know, it's undulation, and it looks like a bunch of different things happening at once, like an alien planet. Yeah, I really like that. Doe says, I like taking pictures. My dad and I have always watched the weather together. I'm starting to get a bit into videos. Hopefully, I'll be profitable for me. Now, with the profitable part, over time, doing what you love to do will eventually pay off. And over time, as the channel grows, it certainly will. It's possible that it may certainly will be monetized, and I believe that it will. I believe it will be for that for you. And at the same time, making the great content and doing what you love to do with that is the most fulfilling thing, and all those other things will fall into place. So, Badro, I think that, or I should say, Doe, that will certainly be something that you should pursue. Yes. The one who can and can't are both correct. The one who can and can't are both correct. So I believe that it will work. And creating a wonderful product is the most important thing. And by doing that, the other things will all fall into place. And people will certainly enjoy these type of videos and things. Yeah, so I'm glad that you're pursuing YouTube and doing it as a side thing. It started as a hobby for me, became a big deal for me. So yeah, definitely, I believe that, Bedro. It's nice and relaxing to see this. Ah, okay, though. Okay, though. Used to be in wine, and apparently that was the region. Dough is in wine country. Ah, okay. I'm part French from both sides. There's a lot of people where I am that had that name that you have right there. A lot of people have that. And so very relaxing. I enjoy the scenery, the long country roads. Hello, Beans. Good to see you. I don't know where this is at. This is a video that Doe took, but Bordeaux took. We, I'm just kind of like reacting to it, and I recommend the channel. Yeah. Yeah, we're talking about the tornadoes and how deadly they could be, because we're talking about a tornado movie. All right, the year 1998 saw the record number of tornadoes in the United States and most fatalities since 1974. In February 22 to 23, devastating outbreak of tornadoes in Florida, the worst in the state's history. We had 42 people and injured 254. March 20, tornado in north central Georgia deleted 12 people, injured 171. April 6 to 9, a large tornado outbreak affected the Great Plains and Midwest, parts of the Southeast, producing 62 tornadoes. Doe says, I love the country and I love it. That is the kind of backroads, maybe not backroads, but a little bit like backroads. Okay, understood. Eric says, George Loy, my great great grandfather, migrated to the U.S. from France. Oh, that's very cool, Eric. Oh, that's awesome. In April 8, F5 tornado in north central Alabama deleted 34 people and injured 270. This was part of a larger outbreak that also impacted Mississippi and Georgia. April 5 to 16, a 2-day outbreak implicated the Midwest, Mississippi, and Tennessee valleys, with the worst occurring on the second day. Nashville, Tennessee, was hit by 3 tornadoes, including F2, making the first major city in nearly 20 years to experience a direct downtown area. You like it when you can't even see your neighbor on the street. Nice. May 30 to 31, historic tornado outbreak in Derecho impacted a large portion of the northern U.S. Southern Ontario. A destructive F4 tornado struck Spencer, South Dakota, deleting 6 people and injuring 150. In June, two significant outbreak impacted the East Coast with 37 tornadoes reported by Storm Prediction Center, and this event included 9 tornadoes confirmed in southwestern Pennsylvania. In June 13, over 40 tornadoes touched down primarily across Kansas, Nebraska, and Oklahoma, including an F2 downtown Samantha, Kansas, and 4 tornadoes near Oklahoma City. Alligators are dinosaurs. That makes sense. Yeah. October 4, a major outbreak of Oklahoma produced 19 tornadoes, including damaging tornadoes in Moore, Shawnee, and northeastern Oklahoma. Hurricane George's tornado outbreak, the 6-day outbreak, produced 47 tornadoes in Alabama, 17 in Florida, wow, 10 in Georgia, associated with the passage of Hurricane Georges in southeast. Most were weak, but F2 tornadoes touched down in Florida. That's okay, though. It's all good. East most weak, down. Okay, overall 1998 saw 1,425 record tornadoes, 130 fatalities, a significant increase over the previous year. Many facilities occurred in mobile homes. Number of men, women were deleted was almost equal. Yeah, I think that they are dinosaurs too. Interesting pictures. Oh yeah, Doe. You know what cats also do? Cats chase their own tails. Like that's what dragons did. Like you see, dragons would chase their own tails, and that's what cats do. So I do think there could be some connection to the reptiles somehow. Oh, I'll tell you right now, Beans. It was up north. Walmart in Michigan. So it was a Michigan Walmart that had this attack happen. Yeah, Beans. I wouldn't doubt that. That makes sense to me. Oh, nice, Doe. Nice. At least 11 people have been stabbed at a Walmart in U.S. state of Michigan in what county sheriff says appears to have been a random act of violence. A suspect in custody, and 6 victims are in critical condition, according to authorities in Traverse City, state north. 11 is 11 too many, but thank God it wasn't more. Grand Traverse County Sheriff Michael Shea told reporters that gathered at the scene. His office said in a statement that the suspect, a 42-year-old man believed to be a Michigan resident, and had entered the Walmart about 4:45 p.m. on Saturday local time and carried out the stabbings alone and using a folding style knife. Beans, some people think it may have been an act of terrorism. I saw it in another article, but I don't really know that for sure. It's not confirmed or anything, in my opinion. It just may have been a crazy person. But they were claiming the person looked different. Like, could have been from. And some people on Twitter were saying it was because of it was, Islamic terrorism. But I don't really. There's no confirmation, in my opinion, about it really. Until we'll see what it was. But I think it was just a crazy person either way. Like, Doe says, I will. Will it bother you if I post Brandon Coptic link in here for Beans? Doe, that would not bother me. Go for it. I like Ryan Hall, y'all. He's another YouTuber that does the weather stuff. He's well known all over YouTube, so you feel free to do that. It doesn't bother me. I talk about Ryan Hall, y'all. He's people need to see what the weather's doing. Thank you for asking. A sheriff's deputy arrived on the scene within minutes and took a man into custody with the help of others in the shop, who also helped treat the victims before emergency services arrived, according to the sheriff's office. Tiffany DeFell, 36, who lives in honor 40 kilometers from Travis City, said she was in the car park and saw chaos erupt around her. It was really scary. Me and my sister were just freaking out. She said, "This is something you see on the movies. It is not something you expect to see when you're where you're living." Six critical after brutal acts of violence. A spokesperson for Moonstone Healthcare, which runs the region's largest hospital, said 11 people were being treated for stab wounds, with 6 of them in critical and 5 in serious condition on Saturday evening. The ages of the victims are not yet to be released. Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer said she was getting updates from the police about the horrible news. Our thoughts are with the victims and the community reeling from this brutal act of violence, she said. Walmart also said in a statement in which continue to work closely with law enforcement in the navigation. Quote, violence like this is unacceptable. Our thoughts are with those who were injured. We're thankful for the swift action of first responders, the statement said. FBI Deputy Director Dan Bongino said in a social media post that Bureau of Officers are responding to provide any necessary support. Travis City is a public vacation spot and coast of Michigan in the state's north. It's known for its festive wineries and lighthouse about 40 kilometers east of Sleeping Bear Dunes and National Lakeshore. All right. So that is what happened, Beans. It was in Michigan. Alrighty. Bean says, I posted a short of my on YouTube channel of me making bigness today. Oh, Beans. Beans, nice. Okay. Well, let's see. And also, shout out to Beans. She's a cool people. Also. Let's go here. Yeah, Beans, I'll certainly will check that out. Okay. And okay. All right, let's just flip this over real quick. All right, I have to put it in this other window. Okay, let's try that again. Let's go to. Let's do this again. Let's see. Let's get this thing right here. Come on. All right. All right. This is Beans. This is a. She's making this food. Looks delicious, Beans. Great job. Looks delicious. Yeah, definitely. Right there. That's the name. Right there. Yeah. Yeah, Beans. I like that. Looks very delicious. Thanks for sharing. Excellent. Looks very yummy. Over here. I like how on the platform people can show their creativity and show their different ideas and things. So I like seeing that y'all are participating in that. Oh, Beans, I'm glad it tasted good and you're welcome. You're welcome. And shout out to Beans, very good at cooking and making different shorts and stuff. I'm glad that that's what the platform is there for people to share these things and to what they're doing. So I'm glad that y'all are taking interest in YouTube too. Now, yeah, yes, definitely, definitely, very delicious dough. All right, everybody. So we went extended the time a little bit. I want to say that now. Hope everybody has been having a good weekend, and hope tomorrow goes good for y'all. And now I'm going to be ending the stream. All right. So I want to thank all of y'all for being here, and shout out to the different people that were talking about their channels. Appreciate y'all very much. And I liked and thank you, Eric, for the tornado information about the 1998. All right. So very good stream. I appreciate y'all's commentary and company, and chat did very well how they handled themselves today. And I wish all of y'all a good good day, and yeah, have a blessed weekend. Yes, good vibes to all. Yes, absolutely. Let's do this here. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. And peace. All right, Eric. Understood. Yeah, see you there.